I'm Jagger Martin, author of Boland Bankers Behaving Badly. Capitec Bank has been South Africa's biggest post-apartheid success story. But before its collapse, Steinhoff International was arguably the most prominent international success story, at least on the surface. So success deserves greater scrutiny. In fact, in January 2018, hot on the heels of Steinhoff's collapse, short seller Viceroy Research revealed that Capitec magically made 3 billion rand appear in their loan book. A report entitled A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing had the details of exactly how they performed this accounting trick, except Viceroy got it wrong. If you've ever watched Penn and Teller's Fool Us, if you don't work exactly how the trick is done, the magician still fooled them, and he gets to walk out with an FU trophy. And so, Boland Bankers actually reveals how the trick was done. Not once, but over 8 years. And in fact, if you look back to when the Dream Team was still running Boland Bank, they got away with offloading an irreconcilable loan book to African Bank. And then they paid themselves unauthorized bonuses, which made BAE very unhappy. And so I had the curiosity about whether history might repeat itself. Because as a writer, I'm interested in what motivates behavior. And incentives often drive behavior more than ethics, more than morality, more than intelligence or intentions. And they cause good people to do bad things. So what makes this book different is that we temper the success with the vulnerabilities and the risk that are generally overlooked but actually quite common in banking. In fact, banks are designed to fail, and regulators, they're not trying to eliminate risk because they simply can't. By design, banks will fail as cycles change. The question is only which bank is going to fail and when. So I'm very confident that readers with some interest in the Capitec story in South Africa, in the Stellenbosch Mafia, banking, malfeasance, all these things will find Boland Bankers enthralling. This week is a turning point for Capitec because CEO Gerry Fourie has officially stepped down, which frees him to sell his shares without disclosing those via cents. At the same time, a major legal development has quietly shaken this regulatory space because just about 2 days ago in mid-July, the High Court in Pretoria confirmed that the FSCA has the jurisdiction to fine Viceroy over this 2018 report. So before unpacking the implications, if we just rewind back to September 2021, when the FSCA imposed a 50 million rand fine on Viceroy, the charge was publishing statements that were false, misleading, or deceptive. What is it that Viceroy actually alleged? Well, on page 124 of my book, I quote them stating that we see no operational difference between African Bank, which failed in 2014, by the way, and Capitec Bank. And of course, Capitec immediately, they went on the defensive. They commissioned Intelligex to produce a report that noted that African Bank was reliant heavily on insurance and on retail sales, unlike Capitec. But fast forward to today, and Capitec's revenue model mirrors that of African Bank. And as I outlined in that book, Boland Bankers Behaving Badly, if IFRS 9 had been applied back in 2018, Capitec would have needed to raise its bad debt provisions by about 950 million. The bank also recognized 525 million and 442 million in 2017 and 2016 respectively. And so these little accounting choices they made formed the basis of Viceroy's allegations about the 2.5 to 3.1 billion that was missing from the reconciliation of the loan book. And so that we know what Viceroy really challenged with the FSC is the legal jurisdiction over themselves. They didn't even have to get into the details of the case. So now that's all that happened is the High Court in Pretoria said that the FSCA can act. Whether or not the FSCA's claims hold water will be a battle for another day. Are they bullying tactics to shut up dissenters? I'm not shy about raising my point of view. And I think there's no shortage of examples of regulators that rush to the aid of these fraudulent companies to defend them against short sellers like Viceroy. In fact, Fraser Perring has not been put off by the threats from BaFin when he was fingering Wirecard, nor from the UK parliamentarians accusing him of working for the Russian mafia. And he's not one to be easily silenced. Boland Bankers Behaving Badly is distributed through Blue Weaver in South Africa. Ask your local bookstore for a copy or obtain it from Amazon now. Thank you.